Hey there, I'm Alan Matthews from Classical Guitar Shed, and in this video we're going to talk about getting tired in guitar practice. When you've sat down, you've made time for it, you're into it, you want to do it, but then all of a sudden you just get exhausted in your practice. It's very common that this happens, and so then what can we do about it? How can we address the issue? We're going to talk about it in this video. If you'd like to, if you enjoy this video, please subscribe and then you can see more of them. All right, let's get to it. All right, first off, practice is work. So guitar practice, classical guitar practice especially, is real work. It's physical work, it's really mentally challenging, and depending on what you're doing, it can also be emotionally challenging as well. So the first thing to remember is that it's completely normal for this to take energy and for this to be tiring. That said, it might be that you feel like you're getting more tired than is really necessary or warranted for the stuff that you're doing. And so in that case, there are a few things that you can take a look at. First off is deal with the low-hanging fruit first. So if it's late at night and you're practicing, well then you may just be tired, especially if you've been doing things all day. Even if your workload is fairly light or if you're retired, it's still a lot of mental energy. We make decisions all day long. We open the refrigerator and say, what am I going to drink? Or what am I going to eat? All these decisions, they add up, and so then it really does take a toll on our ability to focus later in the day. So one of the things that you can do is move your practice to earlier in the day and see if that helps. See if it's still an issue. Another thing that influences our practice is the environment. So are the lights really dim? Are other people sleeping in the house? Well, that's a cue for us to go to sleep as well. Is it dark outside? Is it like all these things that are around our environment we can look at and say, is this a good environment for me to be alert and aware and focused? And if it's not, then we can change it. We can get more blue light bulbs if we want to. They keep us up. Warm red lights help us to relax. Blue lights, like the lights in computers and televisions, those keep us up. And so if we want to, we can use a bluer light in our practice room, and that will stimulate us to keep us up later at night. You can also take a look at your sitting position. If you're slumped over, then you're not going to be breathing as well, and you'll naturally get tired. And so one of the things that you can do is just sit up and make sure that you're not slouching, and so that you can breathe in a very nice, comfortable, natural way. You don't have to spend very much time thinking about your breathing. Just make sure that you're not constricting your breathing by the way that you're sitting. And you can also think about your blood sugar levels. Are you hungry? The brain takes a lot of glucose. It takes a lot of blood sugar in order to work well. So if you've been doing something that is taxing, then it's going to burn through a whole lot of glucose. And so one of the things that you can do is eat a piece of fruit or something else before you practice, and that will give you just that boost of brain energy to do that. Hydration is very good for brain too. I've actually read, and I can't quote this because I'm not a scientist, that if we're even just a little bit dehydrated, our mental function can drop by as much as 10% just from being very mildly dehydrated. So hydrating is another thing that we can do to make sure that we have good energy. So once we've got our low-hanging fruit, just the things directly in our practice time, we can zoom out a little bit and look at the bigger picture. So in our lives, in our days, are we getting enough of the basics? Are we getting enough sleep overall? Are we getting enough exercise? And are we drinking enough water? We just talked about water. So of each of those three, if we take a walk before practice, getting the blood flowing, that's going to help. Also, just even if it's not right before practice, anytime during the day, as long as we're getting the basic things that our body needs, we'll be more likely to be able to focus and do good practice. So there's no one particular thing that we can do to have more energy in practice. By the way, coffee isn't a great idea because it's not the best type of energy. It's not nearly as good as like a good vital, healthy energy. It's more a little bit edgy and frenetic brain energy. But just a little bit of coffee could also help, but better to go with the natural things first. So the main thing is that you just experiment, you try things, and track your results. Try something and see what you think. Try it for 3 or 4 days. Try eating a piece of fruit 3 or 4 days before you practice, and just track your results in a notebook or something. And before long, you will find that sweet spot of this and this and this to make your practices that much more satisfying and rewarding and fruitful by eating fruit. All right. If you've enjoyed this video, please do subscribe. I would love to visit your screen again sometime in the near future. And until then, have a good one. Bye-bye.